Matt Smith here for Sports Talk at the Stadium, presented by the South Carolina Beef Council. Just behind me, not too long ago, Clemson edged Louisville 20-19, and in doing so, the Tigers picked up their first win over a ranked opponent this season, the first time they've done that since beating SMU in the ACC championship a year ago. In his post-game comments, Dabo Swinney, very, very positive. I think he was happy to win what turns out to be Cade Klubnik's final ACC career game. He lauded the seniors for Clemson, just talking about how impressive they were. It almost took on a different tenor because Clemson made enough mistakes, even Coach Swinney admitted that, to lose this game, but Louisville made one more in a fourth quarter that was just back and forth with both teams seemingly trying to give it away. To recap the final sequence that changed the game, Clemson leading 20-19, had a bad snap on a punt play, leading to Louisville getting the ball inside the Clemson 25, trailing 20-19 with just over 2 minutes remaining. And then false start for Louisville. That was the first, and what turned out to be a trio of gaffes right there in the final minute. Then on second down, they picked up some yardage. They were well within range. DeMonte Capehart stood over the Louisville running back. I thought he was perilously close to getting an unsportsmanlike conduct. There were two Clemson players there, kind of taking their time getting away from the downed ball carrier. Louisville's offensive lineman decided to take justice into his own hands, comes over, shoves DeMonte Capehart. Flag comes out, unsportsmanlike penalty, takes Louisville for the moment out of field goal range. That's gaff number 2. Then there's a missed tackle by Strozier for Clemson on a little short screen pass, allowing Louisville to get back in field goal range, but it's a long field goal, 46-yarder that was missed. Louisville goes down 20-19. They missed an extra point and 2 field goals in the fourth quarter, and that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty looms large. Now, Clemson, meanwhile, had its own problems. Dabo Swinney did not say in his postgame comments that he's going to take Peter Woods off the goal line assignment, but he did fumble on 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line. Adam Randall's right there behind him at the tailback position. Instead, on consecutive plays, Garrett Riley opted to call Peter Woods' number. Well, we don't know exactly what happened on 4th down. On 3rd down, we know they called Peter Woods' number. He had the ball, fumbled, but Clemson recovered, giving them another chance on 4th down and goal. Adam Randall's right there in the backfield, over 100 yards rushing tonight. One of his best games as a running back here at Clemson. We don't know precisely what happened, but Cade Klubnik tried to hand it to Peter Woods, bounced right off of his big belly, and the play went awry. A few minutes later, Clemson is able to turn the situation around by forcing a punt, getting the ball back near midfield, another long run from Adam Randall, and then he punches it in. The only Clemson Tiger to score a touchdown tonight, Adam Randall with 2 touchdowns, as we said, 105 yards rushing. Cade Klubnik, okay, didn't turn it over in what turns out to be his final ACC game, but a real spoiler game for Clemson. They spoiled Louisville's very slim hopes. They had 2 losses after being upset by Cal last week. Very slim hopes that they were going to be able to get into the ACC championship game, but now those hopes are gone completely with a log jam at the top of the ACC. Clemson, meanwhile, is going, likely going to the postseason for the 21st consecutive season, something else Coach Swinney said in his postgame comments he's very excited about. They need only to beat Furman or South Carolina in the next 2 weeks to get bowl eligible. Clemson could still finish this regular season 7-5. Coach Swinney was pretty fired up. Despite all of the misplays and mistakes for Clemson tonight, and there were plenty, just 1 of 13 on 3rd down, that would be a talking point if Clemson would have lost this game. But they did make all of their kicks. Nolan Hooser has now made 10 consecutive field goals, made all his extra points, and that was a big part of the difference here in the 20-19 victory. Also, Louisville committed 10 penalties. Clemson committed just 2. So you add all those things up, and Clemson's able to come away with a 20-19 win over Louisville. Heartbreaking if you're the Louisville Cardinals, and Dabo Swinney said as much. He does like Coach Jeff Brom. Also talked about how good his defense played by limiting Louisville to just 19 points. They did have a good night running the football. Kewan Brown had a big night running the football to 135 yards on 15 carries for Louisville, but Clemson's defense did enough, forced a turnover. Avian Terrell forced and picked up a fumble. Adam Randall was able to punch that one in for one of 2 touchdowns on the night. So in the end, it's just enough for Clemson. Here in the shadows of Churchill Downs, it was Clemson by a nose. They win 20-19. They can get bowl eligible on Senior Day with a win over Furman next week. We'll talk about that game, this game, its implications, and what Clemson can do offensively, if Peter Woods is going to be a part of the plans offensively, and perhaps the emergence of Adam Randall at the running back position. We'll talk about that all week on Sports Talk across the Sports Talk Media Network. You can also stream it at Sports Talk SC. Find us on YouTube, and of course, follow us on Twitter at SC Sports Now. That's a wrap here for Sports Talk at the Stadium. Be sure to stay right here on YouTube, sportstalksc.com, and all the platforms for Sports Talk, because Phil Kornblut will have more from College Station in South Carolina and their upset bid against Texas A&M tomorrow.